Hey, welcome to Cheaper Jeeper TV, the show that helps you get the most for your money so that you get the most for your Jeep. I'm Dino, your host. Glad to see you here. In this week's episode, we're loading up the Jeep because we're heading up to Lake Superior Provincial Park to do some camping. And if you could see my camping gear on the other side of the camera, you might think, I don't know if you'll fit that in. Seems like a lot. So I'll show it to you. You let me know what you think. And if there's something that you'd suggest that I bring along, by all means, make sure you let me know in the comments section below. And if there's something I have that you like, let me know as well. All right, let's get started. You know, if you're a long-time subscriber to this channel, you'll have seen all the DIY videos and how I tried to make some of the camping equipment that we use in our Jeep, just to save a little bit of money, but also to customize it so things can run efficiently. And I hope that you get to see that in today's video, and let me know in the comment section if you think so too. So let's get started. So what exactly are the items that comprise of my gear? Well, let me show you. Well, for starters, there's the sleeping camping platform that's going to fit in the Jeep. There's the 2-inch high density foam that makes it nice and comfy. Of course, some bedding for the platform. There's the Hasika screen tent kitchen room, the Coleman 6-in-1 camping table, a couple folding chairs, and I'll be trying something with this tarp and extending poles, a little welcome mat, my custom chuck box version 2, and its corresponding pantry box that's going to store some food and some items. My Jackery 500 and 100 watt Solar Saga panel. Something new to the collection is my 5-pound propane tank and a USB powered fan for some ventilation. Now, although that is some of the items, not all of them, it's still quite a bit. And how am I going to get it to fit in the Jeep? Why don't we get started? The first thing I'd like to show you is something I did here in the back. I'm not exactly sure if this will turn out, but let's have a look. If you look in here a little closer, you can see that I've removed the rear seat. And that way, when the platform is installed, all this space under here will be available for storage. And when the platform's installed, from here to the floor is 16 inches. So let's put the platform in. There, you see, tons of room. Let's put on the high density foam pad now. Whew. Well, now we've got the platform and the 3-inch high density foam mattress on, and I know that this is very comfortable. But while we're here, let's talk about ventilation. There is this idea. This is just a typical rain gutter guard. It's plastic. And it does come with a wire mesh here on this side of it. And there's a little grooved piece right here. And you can see the mesh on it. I spray painted it black, and it'll keep the mosquitoes out. It'll let the ventilation in, and you barely even notice it. But I have another idea I want to show you for ventilation that I use instead of this. And that is this. This is also a vent, but it's a screened louvered attic soffit vent. I spray painted it black. It almost fit perfectly in here, but I had to add a few strips of aluminum around the edges to fit. And the window actually curves down here, so that's why this piece is extended. But this is a great way to have a large amount of ventilation in this window, which also protects it from rain. So if the rain was hitting here, the louvers would just direct the rain down. In the couple times that I've used it, it had rained and it worked amazingly. So we put one on this side and we put one on the other side. Okay, so let's continue packing up the Jeep. Now let's put in our custom made chuck box and pantry box that will fill this space. Okay, I'm pretty happy. All that is fitting in nicely. So in the chuck box, as you'll see in the next video when we're out camping, I've got all my camping gear, my cook stove, my cutlery, the cups, and a whole bunch of other things. And then in the pantry box, I had this extra space, so I made a custom box to fit it. And then the idea is when we get groceries and things, we just pull this box out and fill it up with food. And then if there's some items that I still can't fit there, I've got room up here in the attic shelf. Okay, let's put some more things in. My extendable aluminum poles, now let's put these in the Jeep. The Coleman 6-in-1 camping table, let's put it in. And I can take some odds and ends like these tarps to just sort of cushion that area. So far I've got the platform in, I've got the mattress in, the bedding of course will go on top of that. I've got the 6-in-1 camping table in, the poles for the tarp, and of course I've got the chuck box with all the camping supplies in there, and the pantry with food supplies there, and where I need more space I've got this attic shelf up here. Now let's find some room for our chairs. There you go, the chairs are in place now, and I've got holes at the front crosspiece that allows me to push them through a little bit, and even if I had fishing rods I could do the same. Let's get that welcome mat. Now it's time to put in the Hasika tent. Now if you saw my other videos, the Hasika tent was mounted to the roll bar right here. But now that I've made the attic shelf, that'll be a little tough to put in here. So I think I've got some room over here. Fits perfectly here. And to be honest, the rear door window is where I check my blind spot, not this glass here. There's still glass left over. Let's carry on. Okay, so now I've got the shelf back in, and you're saying, Dino, where are you gonna put the 26 quart 12 volt refrigerator? It'll be a shame to have to carry it on top of the sleeping platform, but when you're driving, you're not really using the sleeping platform. Of course, while I'm driving, my wife could also have a nap. That means we just have to put stuff on this side. But I actually have a pretty good spot for that and the Jackery 500. Come have a look. You can see that the fridge just makes it underneath the support pieces. If your fridge is a little taller and interferes with the support pieces, for your trip, you could take those pieces out and just put brackets at both ends of the cross pieces to eliminate that support piece altogether. I would have done that, but I don't need to. Also, you can see around here there's room for the plug, there's room for ventilation, and the Jackery fits nicely over there where the Jeep, when I'm driving, will charge the Jackery. The Jackery will run the fridge and charge anything like my camera batteries, cell phones, those kinds of things. That is if I'm not charging it elsewhere. But this little setup is very nice right here. I don't know about you, it still looks pretty empty back there. Let's throw in a couple solar panels. I do have 2 solar panels and it's a long story, but anyway, let's put them up here. So it's shoved up in here behind the speaker and over here on top of the roll bar, and I have this just for extra security in case it were to fall down, but I may add an extra bungee cord or something here, but the 2 solar panels will be stored up here. I know what you're saying, Dino. It hardly looks like anything's in there, but there is so many things already. But I guess the gig is up because I still have to put all my clothes and toiletries and things in here. Well, remember these? I have 2 of them, one for me, one for her, and they hang on the roll bars, one behind the driver's seat and one behind the passenger seat, and it keeps all of our clothes and personal effects out of the way. Come on, let's put them in. And of course, let's not forget our water jug. If I want to put it here when I'm driving, I'll strap it in to secure it. Or it'll rest nice and snugly right down here. And now, yeah, there is an item that I guess we have to talk about, but we all know that things work out in the end. And so we have to bring along our little bit of a porta potty. This is a DIY type solution where I got this lid off of Amazon and it snaps shut on top of a seat and it fits over a 20-liter bucket. And what we do is instead of in the middle of the night having to run out into the woods, or if you're at a park trying to find a comfort station, we have this set up in our Hasika tent, and we use this and we just catch the contents in a bag. If we're out in the wilderness, we'll use a compostable bag and just bury it. But yep, now we're gonna go put this in the Jeep. So that fit nicely just above the middle hump of the Jeep. There's still all of this space here behind the driver's seat for other things. And the last thing that I want to show you that we bring along, I don't really insist that other people should do this too, but for us we kind of like it, is this little carpet that we put in our Hasika tent. Whether we're winter camping or if we're camping in the summertime, it's nice to have a soft surface when we come in that tent. It just makes it feel a little bit more comfortable. And if it's a bother, we just won't bring it, but it isn't too much bother, and let's pack it into the Jeep. Yeah, this. Okay, so it looks like I've got practically everything loaded in the Jeep and everything is on the inside. So if I'm ever in an urban environment, I'm pretty stealthy. Now, the one last thing that I have some concerns about is where I'm gonna mount the 5-pound propane tank. Those mounts that go on the outside of the top here, they're like $120 Canadian, and that's pretty spendy. So if any of you out there have some suggestions, I'm all ears. I'd like maybe some ideas on how to secure it to the rear tire. But for now, I know I wouldn't be sleeping with this in the Jeep. But while we're driving, if there were a leak, we would smell it for sure. But for now, I'm just gonna shove it right in here. Now I've got mostly everything in the Jeep and we're ready for our trip. In fact, while you're watching this, I'm probably going to be on the trip, and the video of the trip will be next week. So if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you go down here, click on that subscribe button and the alert bell so you don't miss that next episode. And now let's go on and move into our tip segment. Now for some cheaper Jeeper tips. In this week's subscriber tip, I want to talk with you about why I chose to move away from these 1-pound propane bottles, which are about $9 for a pound of propane, and I'm going to the refillable 5-pound tanks, which cost you $5 to fill it with 5 pounds of propane. $9 for 1 pound, $5 for 5 pounds. Now, there are people who say you can buy adapters and refill these, and technically that's true, but they say it's not exactly the safest way to go. So by getting one of these tanks, I'll just refill this when I need to and save some money. And then of course, don't forget, you're going to need to have an adapter hose so that you can connect the tank to your grill or your propane stove. Now let's move on and hear what our subscribers have to say. And now for subscribers tips. This week's subscriber tip comes from the Cargo Area Attic Storage Swing Away Shelf video. Hey Cheaper Jeeper TV, to make use of all the available space, I have the Dirty Dog full cargo net set and often stuff clothes and light stuff on top of the net, between the net and the hard top or soft top. Signed, Jeff. Hey Jeff, thank you so much for the tip. It'll definitely be helpful for those who are not interested in the DIY routine. Thank you very much. And if you have any tips, feel free to put them in the comments section below, as they may make it in a subsequent video. Thank you. Okay, that's it for this week's episode of Cheaper Jeeper TV. I hope that you found it interesting, and we'll see you in the next video when we're actually going to be on the camping trip. And I'm going to let you know right now that we're going up to Lake Superior Provincial Park. And you'll see in that next video how interesting it is to be camping there. And until then, be well, stay safe, take care.